Guys, it's Courtney here from Willows Bloom, and I'm here to give you the September astrology channel messages. And I'm super excited to have a chat with you guys because a lot of stuff came through that I didn't expect. Normally I get these feelings about what's coming up, and for some reason these next few months I was just getting a blank. And so I'm super excited to chat with you guys about it. So let's get started talking about some pretty big astrological things that started in August but will be feeling in September. So on August 24th, Mars is going to be squaring Saturn. And this is also going to be exact on September 29th as well as January 12th. So what this means is that our life force energy, our drive, our action is going to be stifled, and we're going to be presented with more challenges. And I pulled a ton of tarot cards and oracle cards around today's message because I wanted to see what that meant for us and how that would affect us. And one of the most important messages that's really coming through is our need to rest. And I pulled three cards specifically that were really talking about the deep transformation that we're undergoing. And I think that this is kind of what this Mars square Saturn is all about. I think that we're trying to move forward and take action on our goals and begin to change our lives, but there's a lot of inner transformation that still needs to happen. And we've already been experiencing so much of this, so I feel like we're at the point where we're just tired of it and we're ready to push through. But the problem is that with Mars square Saturn, this can lead to burnout because you're pushing so much, but the universe is kind of like blocking you or stopping you. And so really what it's saying is that we're meant to be moving in flow. And the best way to move in flow right now is to surrender and to release control and to allow yourself to rest and regenerate and reflect and turn inward. And so I do see there being positive momentum towards the end of this month. However, I think we do have to undergo this deeply transformative period. I pulled this card that says, transformation, things are changing at a cellular level. And that's the thing, you guys. What we're undergoing right now, I think, is deeper and more powerful than we can comprehend in this moment. And I actually pulled the Two of Swords right beneath these cards. And to me, it's this woman sitting with a blindfold on. And to me, this is indicating that we don't have all of the answers right now. We don't have all of the clarity. We don't understand how this is fitting into the bigger picture. But this moment in history and this moment in our lives where we're being asked to pause, where we're meeting resistance, when we're trying so hard to move forward, is actually really necessary. And we're going to look back and say, oh, okay, I'm so glad that happened then because of this deep inner transformation and all these realizations that came out of it. And I think that it's not going to be something that we can fully appreciate now because we don't have all the answers. We are that woman with the blindfold who's in the thick of the transformation. And whenever there is a transformation occurring, there are multiple levels of it. There are multiple stages. And one of the first stages before you break out and you start having the external or materialized benefits of a transformation is the contraction period. And so I feel like September, we're going to be experiencing a contraction period, at least in the first half and likely all the way through even towards the third week as well. And so it's so important to tune into our heart. And that's why I pulled the inner temple card, because I think that life is not necessarily going to give us what we ask it this month. To me, that's what Mars square Saturn is, because Mars is our drive to go and actualize our purpose, to go after the things that we want in life. And Saturn is saying, no, this is not the time. And so this is going to take a deep level of devotion and patience and understanding. And in order to have that, we have to keep coming back to ourselves, continuously checking in with ourselves. And again, I'm seeing a strong burnout energy, like burning the candle at both ends. And that's why I have multiple cards that I've pulled that are indicating a deep replenishment, a need to rest, retreat, relax, and go within. And so the Four of Cups reversed, that's exactly what that's saying. It's saying this is our moment in September, not to push ahead if you don't feel like it's flowing. We are meant to flow right now. And if things are not flowing, it's because it's not the right time. There is divine timing happening with all of this. I pulled the flow card and the communion card. And to me, both of these are indicating that we need to not only surrender, but look for signs within the universe. We are communing, that's probably not a verb, but we are having communion with the universe. And what that essentially means is that we are having a conversation. We are in a dialogue, which means that we need to hear and listen out for the universe. So we're going to be in these periods of meeting these brick walls, which is Mars square Saturn, and we're going to take that time, or we're being asked to take that time to go within. And we're likely going to be asking the universe, why is this happening? What does this mean? Is there a redirection taking place? What do I need to do? And when we ask those questions, we need to listen. And the only way to truly hear the universe is by creating that quiet space, is by going within, is by rejuvenating your soul and doing things that are truly reflective, truly relaxing to you. And so the communion aspect is really important, that this is a to and fro relationship. We are giving, we are receiving, we are talking, we are hearing. So when we are begging the universe, please, please give me some signs, we need to be open to actually seeing those signs. So that's going to be really important for us this month. So yeah, so the recharging, going within, I think that is one of the biggest messages that was really coming through for us. But then it's not going to be like no momentum, you know? It's not like we're moving backwards. And that's what I want you guys to keep telling yourself. I'm not moving backwards. I'm still moving forwards. But just because you don't see in the external world things moving forward doesn't mean that it isn't. There has to be so many internal alignment shifts that have to take place in order for things to align in your life, in order for the external to then move forward, to then catch up. So it's almost like, you know, they say as above, so below with astrology. Well, as within, so without. So the internal shifts have to take place first. The alignment has to take place first. The movement inside of us has to take place first. And then it externalizes. And so that's what I feel like September is about. It's about all the internal work that still has to take place. And you guys are probably like, I'm so sick of hearing that. And that's because I've talked about this a number of times on my podcast. You know, this is a time to go within, and this is a time to really understand what you want out of life and all of this. And unfortunately, that's just what this year is about. We are meant to make progress towards our goals and build that foundation. However, it's like every time we take a step forward and we're trying to make progress, we have to make 10 internal steps. And that's because the whole universe is undergoing a deep shift right now in energy. And so we can't just take action externally in order to align ourselves with the future of the planet. We have to also make the internal energetic shifts, which typically requires a lot more rest and a lot more work, but not like active work. It's passive work. And so if you think about it that way, then you will recognize that you're actually achieving a lot right now. And it's actually super, super important for these energetic shifts on the planet, especially when things start to truly manifest in 2021. You're going to realize how this moment in time truly set you up for that future. And the reason I can see that this is more of an internal period of time where we are processing what has happened and where we are, I guess, coming back to ourselves in a way, even after we're being kicked down, if that makes sense. It's like we want things so badly to be different, but the universe is kind of kicking us down and saying, no, that's not what you actually need right now. And so sometimes when what we want conflicts with what we need, it can be really challenging. And so that's why I think Mars is going retrograde for a long period of time this year, and it's going to be happening on September 9th. So we're going to start to experience this our internal energy slow down, and it's going to feel like, yeah, the our ability to push things forward and to actively manifest out of our own willpower is not going to be there as easily for us. So that's why I pulled this flow card that's really indicating for us that we are meant to kind of release into this energy, relax into it, and not force it. So if things aren't working, try to spend that time to go within and see if there is further alignment for you. Try to release, but be open to taking action and not seeing results. And that's really why I pulled two other cards, which are focus and devotion. And to me, this is what this Saturn square Mars is asking of us. Even if we cannot see progress towards our goals right now, are we still going to be focused on them? Are we still going to be devoted to them? Are we still going to take action every day to make progress towards those goals? And even though Mars is retrograde, we still are being asked to move forward. So I might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not, because Mars retrograde is basically telling us not to push. So we want to take aligned action. Every single day, we want to align ourselves and take action from that alignment. And the most important thing is to realize that when we are met with roadblocks, that we should keep going, keep trying, keep adjusting and coming back to ourselves and realigning, but don't force things. Because sometimes it is possible for humans to force things to work, right? Like we can force someone to, I don't know, we can force a situation to happen. We can force ourselves to move somewhere even though there are tons of signs saying not to. And I feel like Mars retrograde is telling us, don't force it, but take action. And so that to me is what true devotion and focus is about. Focus on your why. Become devoted to your purpose. And I feel like 2020 in September is really telling us, or really asking us, how much do you want this? How aligned is this for you? And I think that's actually a huge thing about 2020 is if something isn't in alignment, it's going to fall away because it's going to require so much devotion, energy, and focus to keep something within our field. And it will only maintain within our field if it is aligned, because we won't have that energy to give it if it's out of alignment, if that makes sense. And, this recently happened with someone, I can't mention who, but they were engaged to somebody, and, I didn't think that they necessarily were the right couple. And I had this feeling, 2020, how are they going to stay together when it's not in alignment, when they are not meant to be together? And you can feel it. And then just recently, they ended up separating and they ended up calling off the wedding. And that's the energy of 2020. We have these hopes, these expectations, and we're like moving things forward. But if it's not right for us, it's going to fall away. And what is left after 2020, what's left standing, is our purpose, is our true friendships, is real and true alignment. And that really comes from going within and continuing to focus and devote ourselves to the things that light up our soul. And so we have to go within in order to know what that is exactly. And then I also pulled the Judgment card, which to me is saying that things will end up coming to fruition for us. Like there is going to be a judgment day. It might not be today. It might be more so in 2021, but there is going to be a judgment day, which I feel like I'm kind of reading this like the Justice card, but it feels like that for me. Like things will come to fruition. All of your hard work is not lost. All of your time and internal work is not lost. So that's going to be a really important message for you guys. We are moving forward and we will see the manifestations, even if it's not right now and even if it's not in the exact way that we've wanted it to be. And some really good news is that both Saturn and Jupiter are moving direct. So we've been in a deep process of integrating these energies, of understanding our place in the world and how we are basically meant to work more towards our purpose. And with Jupiter and Saturn going direct, I feel like this is giving us kind of like like a green light telling us, yes, we are still taking action. Especially Jupiter, which is a really benevolent planet. And I pulled such amazing cards about what Jupiter was going to bring for us. I pulled the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is the very card that shows us that what we have worked for is going to blossom and bloom and truly be everything that we hoped for in the physical and material world. So this isn't just something that is an internal process, an internal gift, an internal happiness. No, I'm seeing that we are actually going to get the outward manifestation of what we're looking for, and Jupiter moving direct is part of that. However, I asked, well, when is that manifestation going to occur? Because I kind of have a feeling it's not going to be in September or when we wanted it to. And I think that this is going to be deeply personal for each one of us, because I pulled the Ten of Wands and the King of Swords reversed. So the King of Swords reversed is really an indication of having all of this energy but not having necessarily the place to put it. It's like you're reaching an impasse. And then the Ten of Wands is somebody carrying this very heavy load that they're just so exhausted from carrying, and they're just about to give up. And you guys, this is us this year. And what I feel like the universe is telling me through these messages is that we are going to receive these divine blessings when we are on the brink of giving up. When we have put so much energy and momentum and life force into something and we haven't seen the results that we wanted to, and we are desperate, these are the moments that we can either let it break us, or we can further devote it to our purpose, further use that to devote it to our purpose, focus on what we are here for and why we truly want what we want, or why we're going after it. And it's not just for the material manifestations, it's because it's our purpose and because it's what we have to do. There's no other option. So I feel like the benevolent Jupiter is going to start bestowing the blessings in each of our lives when we start to reach that point where we feel like we're starting to lose hope, when we feel like the baggage is way too heavy and like we absolutely need a break. So if that's you, just continue to move forward and don't give up, because the blessings are absolutely coming. And when we flow and when we listen to the universe and when we surrender and observe the signs and actually commune with the universe, we will begin to manifest a new life, because I pulled the Sun, which is truly a rebirth, and it's the rebirth that we're going to experience on the planet. The sun comes up after the dark. The sun brings life where there wasn't life. And I feel like a lot of 2020 is, with this Pluto energy, is removing the life out of the things that aren't working. And when we're in that in-between, where the new hasn't come in, but the old is gone, it's an uncomfortable period where we're like, oh, this is really uncertain. I don't know what's going to fill it. And I thought that I wanted that thing, but now that thing is gone. And so it's, again, this act of surrendering and trusting when you're in that in-between, to know that good things are coming. And the sun will come up, and it's going to replace what wasn't working in your life, the subpar or 80% charge thing in your life, to 100% charge. And you're going to start manifesting, like the King of Pentacles, true abundance in your life. And so I think that's going to be so beautiful for us. And I'm really looking forward to all of these things. So I think Saturn and Jupiter moving direct is going to be super helpful for us. And it's going to, at least, it's interesting because it's like, that is saying that we're moving forward on our lessons, but then Mars retrograde is saying our energy is almost moving backwards. It's like, not moving backwards, but I guess stagnating in a way. It's like we are not meant to push forward, but the lessons are going to still be happening to us. The growth is still happening, because Jupiter is about growth. And Saturn is about lessons. So as these planets move forward, we're going to be learning a lot. But it's like our internal motivation and drive is going to be a little off. It's going to feel different. It's maybe going to be lacking. And so that's why it's so important to go within, replenish your cup, and then once you feel like you've given yourself enough peace and enough time to yourself, then you'll be able to take action the next day. And if you've ever had this experience where you're just working so hard and you're exhausted, you can start to feel hopeless, and you can start to feel like it's never going to work out, and like you're not getting what you want, and it's really easy to sit in a negative thought cycle. And so that's why the replenishing is so important, because that's actually what's going to wipe the slate clean and allow you to have the energy for positive thoughts, even when things aren't exactly where you would want them to be necessarily. Okay, so on top of this, the sun is moving into Libra on September 22nd. I feel like that is going to start shifting the focus towards relationships, especially because Mercury is moving there on the 5th of September. I already kind of feel like this month is going to be heavy with relationships. That is just something I'm intuiting, and I think that shift could possibly come from the sun moving into Libra as well. So maybe it's just at the end of the month, relationships become a focus, and that becomes a part of what helps us manifest our goals. But in the meantime, before that point, the sun is going to be in Virgo. And so Virgo is very focused on the health, the body, the daily routines. And so during that period of time, before the 22nd of September, it's really beautiful for us to go within and ask ourselves intuitively, like, what do I need physically to take care of myself? Because sometimes when we're working so hard on our big vision in life and we're not making that progress, sometimes the best thing that we can do is actually break it down to the more menial, minute, everyday tasks of the present moment. And that's kind of how I see Virgo. They are really good at looking at all the details and then eventually like seeing how they fit into a system together. And so they're really good at improving systems. And our whole life is a system, right? Everything that we do is necessarily a system. Like, we make the bed a certain way, we brush our teeth a certain way. Everything fits all together. Our timing, our scheduling. It's just, the way we orchestrate our life is done in a systematic way. And so if we can if we start to feel overwhelmed and we've already taken the time to replenish and to come back to rest. If we've done those things, then it can also be helpful to focus more so on smaller things that feel more controllable, that feel more manageable. And that can be things like how you take care of your body, what time you're waking up every day, what food you're eating, and the way that you groom yourself, the way that you talk to yourself. Just kind of like the little things, the little habits that make up our entire life. Focusing on that, I think, will also kind of draw our energy back and give us more, like I said, a sense of control, which will then give us more confidence. Because really, truly, what makes us feel depressed is this powerlessness. And so if we feel like we have no control, which 2020 is all about, it's easier to fall into a sense or a state of powerlessness and a state of depression, a state of hopelessness. So I think that is going to be really important as well. And I also pulled the 5 of Pentacles for this month. And this to me was showing us that we might feel like we are without this month. Like, we don't have what we want, which makes us feel like maybe our needs are not being met. But actually, our needs can be met if we go within and if we turn to our more spiritual side. And that's, I think, what this month is really truly telling us is our needs are being met by spirit this month, but not on the external level. And as we find happiness, even amongst this moment where we're not getting what we want, where things maybe aren't materializing as we had hoped. So I'm not saying that, we won't get anything that we want, but I feel like many of us will get this experience where we are coming up against roadblocks in ways that we didn't anticipate, and that can frustrate us. But if we can find happiness, even in those moments, if we can find true devotion to our practice, even in the moments where we're not seeing anything necessarily come out of our devotion, that is like the purest kind of devotion, right? It's a devotion because you just love it. And if we can go within and connect with our spiritual self and our spiritual why and our purpose behind exactly why we're doing whatever we're doing in each moment of the day, then this is actually what is going to set us up for true lasting happiness. Ace of Cups. This true lasting happiness is something that doesn't come from getting our goals realized. It doesn't come from the money. It doesn't come from the growth in your business or in, whatever you're looking for in your life. If you are trying to get pregnant, it doesn't come from that pregnancy. It comes from within. It comes from a decision that you make that you are happy no matter what is going on outside of you. No matter if you have that thing or not. And it's like this month is asking us to go within spirit, go with the flow, all of that, because it doesn't want to give us gifts and then us attach our happiness and our state of well-being onto those gifts. Because if those gifts are then taken away, then our happiness goes away. But if we anchor the happiness within our spiritual selves, within our why, within our purpose, and we feel like we are lit on fire every time we are working and doing what we're doing with a passion, regardless of the outcome, then no matter what we materialize, we're always going to have the Ace of Cups at the end of the day. That doesn't mean we're going to be happy in every single moment, but that means that we know that happiness is our choice and that it's not a choice of the universe and what the universe gives us. And so I think that September is a beautiful month of teaching us that. And then we will be blessed with the material gifts of Jupiter and the karmic gifts of Saturn for our devotion, for our heart, and for our love that we've given to this purpose. And it will be a kind of happiness that is unwavering, because not only will we have our happiness anchored within our spiritual why and ourself, but we will then begin to manifest the external, and we will just, obviously that will just add to our, elation even more. So I think that this is going to be an interesting month, you guys, and I'm really excited to see how it manifests for you. I would absolutely love to know. So yeah, so please let me know, and I hope that you guys have a really beautiful day. Bye.